I am so grateful that I have been blessed with the opportunity to lead this ministry, to see people's lives changed, and the gratitude that they show back to the organization. And when the folks that have benefited from this program show gratitude to our donors, the donors want to continue to give. And I've seen the women in our Women and Children Succeeding program write thank you notes to donors, and donors then write thank you notes to AIM for the thank you notes that they got from the women in our program. So I think gratitude is that thing that when you give it, you get it back tenfold, and it builds upon itself. And having a grateful heart brings joy. And I think when people are bitter, they can't see the things that they need to be grateful for. And if they can get past the bitterness and look at all the blessings that they have, then I think that takes the place of bitterness, and it brings joy. Because that's truly what it's about, is finding joy from your relationship with Christ and from within, and then to be able to show that gratitude to others. It's contagious. I think when people come into our program and they already have a grateful heart and they're grateful, they tend to progress faster. I think it's the folks that come in with kind of that entitlement attitude, you owe me something. And we all know that when people have that attitude, it tends to push us off. We're much less likely to want to help someone who seems to expect it than that person who is truly grateful for each and everything that you do for them. I am so grateful that 29 years ago, the Community of Faith started talking about an opportunity to create an organization like AIM, and how blessed I've been to have been selected as the leader of this organization. I think every day, thank you, Lord, that you qualify the called and you don't call the qualified. Because I wouldn't be sitting here and having this interview with you, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to have led this incredible ministry for 27 years were it not for Him giving me the tools that I need to lead this organization. So I think just being grateful that we had an opportunity. So I think you have to look for the blessings in the brokenness, and be grateful for every opportunity you have. And this sounds pretty crazy, but I'm grateful that I went through some hard times. I feel like I was in the eye of the hurricane 2.5 years ago, and I'm grateful for that because I've grown, I've learned, and this ministry is in such a better place now than it was in the midst of the storm. So I think we need to really reflect on where we are and be grateful regardless of where we are, whether it's in a time of the storm and in our brokenness, or when it's a time of joy and comfort. AIM would not be AIM if we didn't have our volunteers. So I'm very grateful for the volunteers that we have. Over 500 people giving of themselves, their time and their talent to help others. I'm grateful that the churches had the vision to create this ministry. And if it were not for the community supporting the work that we do, there would be no work. And we talk about, how important our programs are, but our programs are not programs if we don't have the funding to run the programs. So we have to be so grateful for people who believe in our work and believe in it enough to invest in it. So we're grateful for our investors who allow us to give hope and change lives in Anderson County. As an individual, learning to be grateful for what you have is very important instead of what you want. You need to realize that if you're always looking for something that you don't have and you're not looking at what you do have and are grateful for what you do have, you never reach that point of happiness. And I think happiness comes from that joy from within that you find when you realize that you have all you need. My family, my incredible children have helped me to realize that that's really, that's all I need is my wonderful husband and my children And I've been blessed that my husband has shared his family with me. Family was something that was always important. I didn't necessarily have the support of a family that I would have wanted to. Growing up, I didn't grow up in the ideal situation. And I think that makes me very grateful for what I have now with my husband and his brother and his family and his sister and her family. And that they've welcomed me and my children as a part of the Brock family. You know, my daughter, who's in Santa Rosa, California, and has been impacted by the fires, has had friends who lost everything. Fortunately, their home is still intact and they're okay. But this was her favorite time of year. And she would have preferred Thanksgiving over Christmas or any other holiday, which was unusual for a child growing up. But just being together as a family and reflecting on all the blessings that we've had throughout the year. I think we tend to forget Thanksgiving. We get started in Christmas before Thanksgiving gets here, and I think our commercialism of the holidays has somehow bypassed Thanksgiving, and I do think it's probably next to Christmas one of the most important, and Easter, one of the most important holidays that we do have in reflecting on all the blessings that we have and that He's given us so much.